Hey guys! So in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the Revel Nail Dip Powder Kit. Their kit is $45. You can actually get it in multiple different colors. I got the pink one because pink is my favorite color, and I already know it's fall season, but I don't care. It's pink. I had to get it. They do also have a French tip one, but that's $55. And of course, that's not including shipping and tax and whatnot. So after shipping and tax, this ended up being around, I think, like close to $50, but still pretty affordable for a dip powder kit. So in the packaging, it actually came with this little thank you pamphlet and whatnot. It has a little about them. It also has like what the dip powder has, which is vegan and cruelty free, vitamin E, calcium fortified, low odor, and non-toxic, which most dip powder kits have this. And then on the back of this, it actually has several QR codes for, several different things. And one of them happens to be their instructions. They do have the instructions in the box, but it's on the lid of the box. It's not like an actual physical instructions. Hence why I think they have this, so you can get more information. So I will be using this QR code to follow the instructions. So when you open the box, you get your 4 dip powders, you get your base, your activator, your top coat, and then this I've actually never had in a dip powder kit before, which I didn't know what this was until I started watching tutorials, and apparently you're supposed to use this in your base and your top coat after you've finished doing a set to keep them from getting like gooped up and whatnot, which is pretty cool. But I kind of wish that they actually had something that said that that's what it was for. I couldn't really find anything on figuring out what this is for. I only was able to figure it out through watching a tutorial. But this is, generally what you get in a kit. The thing that they don't have, though, is a bond, which a lot of affordable kits won't have a bond in them. And the bond is to help the product to stick and stay. But other than that, this is generally what a dip powder kit comes with. Now, to show you what I was talking about with the instructions being on the lid, this is what I mean. So it has very vague step-by-step instructions as to how to use it, which I wasn't a fan of, but that's why they have the little QR code, because I actually took a look and they give you more instruction as to what to do. Now, I will say I'm not really a huge fan of the QR code being how you get the instructions, just because I don't like touching anything when I have dip powder on my hands because it just gets everywhere. That's just me though. I would rather have a physical instruction rather than a QR code. But again, that's just me. Other people might like that. So it's just all personal preference. So I went ahead and I took everything out of the box. All the liquids and whatnot are up here. But really quickly, I wanted to just kind of show you guys the colors that I got, because I obviously got their pink collection. So this first one is this glittery one, and it is D97 Peppy. The next one is like this hot pink kind of color, and this is D168 Ray. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The next one is like this, I don't want to say it's like a nude pink, but it's definitely a more muted toned pink, more like an orangey pink. And this is D326 Hottie. And then this last one is definitely more of like a nude pink, and it is D171 Aurora. So those are the colors that I got. I will say the difference between this and Kira Sky's dip powder kit is that Kira Sky's dip powder kit comes with 1 ounce jars of dip powder when you first get her kit, rather than this, which only comes with ½ ounce. So, and of course, this obviously doesn't come with a bond, which is what Kira Sky's kit comes with. So that's just a little bit of a comparison, and I think that's just really because this is a more affordable kit, whereas with Kira Sky's kit, it's definitely a lot more, but you get more product out of it rather than these. But I'm not going to judge right away. let's get into the actual application process. And I will give my final thoughts on everything at the end of this video. That way you guys kind of get my thoughts on the product and whatnot. So I've got the instructions up on here, and before any of you are like, hey, you have an old phone, I'm actually using my actual phone for recording this. This is an older phone, so don't judge. Anyways, the thing I don't like about this is that this is like microscopic, and so I have to really zoom in order to see what it is that I'm doing. So, but I'm not gonna get into that. Let's just get into the application process and, you know, whatnot. Now, the first step, it says to sanitize hands and push back cuticles. However, I can't do that because I have product on my nails. I have 2 coats of a nail strengthener on them, so I have to take this off before I can actually start getting into prepping my nails and whatnot. So that's what I'm gonna do. Now, if you're using this video as a kind of tutorial based video, if you have any sort of nail polish on your nails or you have oils on your nails and whatnot, make sure you're using 100% pure acetone to remove it. You don't want to use regular nail polish remover because sometimes those have oils in them, and the whole point is to take any oils off of your nails. So make sure you're using 100% pure acetone when doing that. So I have taken the nail polish off of my nails. I have also sanitized my hands, and now I'm going to push back my cuticles. So the second step in the instructions says, using a fine drill bit or buff/file, remove shine from all nails. Now, I will be applying nail tips, so I will be filing these down and, you know, applying nail tips and whatnot. If you want a more detailed video on how I prep my nails and how I also apply and prep my nail tips, I'll have both of those videos up in the card here and down in the description box below so that you guys can check that out and get a more detailed video as to how to do that. But otherwise, I'm just going to speed through this process. My nails are now all prepped and ready to go. Now I do want to mention this. I actually used the base to apply my nail tips and it works pretty well for applying the nail tips. I will say though, the brush is a bit on the bigger side. So if you are using this to glue on your nail tips, make sure you try to get as much of the product off of the brush. That way you're not flooding the nail tip with nail glue. And I found that after about 12 seconds of holding it on there, it stuck on pretty well. So moving on to the third step, it says apply a thin layer of #1 Pro base using even strokes from base to tip. So from base to tip, they mean from the cuticle area down to the free edge. So I will be using all 4 colors that came in the kit, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to apply the glitter on my thumb and my ring finger, and then I'll figure out what other 3 colors are going to go on these 3 nails. And something else that I do want to mention is make sure that you do open these up before you do anything else. I was actually having a hard time opening up this base, so do make sure that you do that before continuing on with anything else. And I also forgot that these have seals on them, so definitely make sure that you open everything up before you continue with doing your nails. So I'm going to go ahead and open all of these up off camera, and then we can get into the application process. So I opened all of these up and I actually read through the instructions a little more, and we're going to be doing steps 3, 4, and 5. So step 3, apply a thin layer of #1 Pro base using even strokes from base to tip. Step 4, dip finger in powder using a scooping motion. And then step 5, brush off excess powder before perform steps 3 to 5 twice to each nail. Each nail should have 2 coats of powder. Now I might do 3 coats, but we will see. So we will go ahead and do steps 3 to 5. And I also decided on the color order that I wanted to do. So Peppy is going to be on my thumb and my ring finger. Aurora is going to be on my pointer finger. Hottie is going to be on my middle finger, and then Ray, which I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, is going to be on my pinky. So it's sort of going to go from a lighter color to a darker color, but of course, you know, this being a glitter, that might throw it off a bit. However, I'm hoping that it'll look okay still. So this doesn't say this, but with the tutorials that I was watching, a lot of people stirred their powder before actually going into the application process, just get any lumps and clumps out. So that's just what I'm gonna do. And I'm starting off with Peppy first. That way I don't accidentally apply the wrong color to the wrong nail. As you can see, with only 2 coats of dip powder, the nail is still super thin. So after applying 3 coats, you can tell that it's still super thin, and I have a dip right in here. So what I'm going to do, and you probably shouldn't do this, but I'm just doing it anyway, is I'm going to apply dip powder from here down, just because I want to get rid of this dip that I have in here. So what I'm going to do so I don't experience that dip in my nail is I'm going to apply a layer of base just in the middle here and then apply it like over my entire nail. Just because I really don't like that dip and I want my nail to have a little bit of structure to it. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that process off camera, just because I'm having a bit of a hard time being able to see what it is I'm doing. And as you can also see, it's rather messy. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the rest of my nails off camera, and then we will go on to the next step. So I have finished applying the dip powder on all of my nails, and now we can move on to step 6, which is apply a generous amount of number 2 activator on all 10 fingers, covering the edges and capping the tips of the nails. Let dry for 2 minutes. So that's what I'm gonna do, but I think I'm gonna apply 2 coats of the activator just because I did apply like 3 coats of dip powder. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So this is now completely dry, and I know it's completely dry because of that noise. Hopefully it's loud enough so you guys can hear that. And I actually waited about 5 minutes just because I did apply 3 layers. And I did go ahead and wash my hands because, as you can see, there's dip powder literally everywhere. Like, I am physically covered in a layer of glitter. That's what I mean by it's everywhere. But anyway, the next step, which is step 7 and 8, step 7, shape nails with file or drill to remove excess powder from cuticle area. And then step 8, smooth out nails with buff, then rinse hands with water, no soap. But I already went and I washed my hands with soap and water, but hopefully that won't affect this at all. So we're gonna go ahead and start filing and shaping. So I have finished filing and shaping my nails, and I did buff them and rinse my hands off with water. As you saw, I was filing my nails with a nail file, but I did end up switching over to my e-file just because I wanted to have a little more control as to where I was filing. But anyway, the next step is step 9, which is apply a second coat of number 2 activator, wait 15 seconds, and then gently wipe dry with a paper towel. So let's go ahead and do that. So my activator is reapplied and they're cleaned off, and now the next step, which is step 10, is apply number 3 finish gel. The first coat should be applied using 2 to 3 quick brush strokes. Don't worry about getting close to the cuticle area or capping edges. So when we apply this, we're just gonna apply it really quickly. I'm assuming that's just to keep the brush from getting hard. But what I will do is when I go on to each nail, before I move on to like the next nail, I'll wipe my brush off on my little lint-free wipe. That way it doesn't end up hardening. So I just went to open this, obviously, and this is stuck to the lid. So that's fun. So I just went ahead and cleaned off my hands because, as you can see, it like splattered all over my hands. And I also noticed there's like black bits inside of there, and I have no idea why. Hopefully that won't affect me putting this on my nails. But let's get into actually putting this on our nails. And if you're wondering why this looks like this, it's because I touched this with some of the glue on my hands, and I tried to clean it off using acetone, but I don't think it really worked. So, but anyway, let's actually move on to the next step. So I've applied this to both hands, and step 11 says that after 15 seconds, apply a second coat of number 3 finish gel. This coat is a slower, more detailed coat. Cap edges, do not overbrush, and then in parentheses it says could have a negative effect on overall shine. So I'm going to probably wait a little bit longer than 15 seconds and then go ahead and apply a second coat. So I've applied a second coat, and in step 12 it says to apply their cuticle oil, which of course I don't have, so I'm just going to use the cuticle oil I do have. But it does say to add it after nails have dried for 1 to 2 minutes. I'm going to wait about 5 minutes though, just because I'm paranoid and I want to make sure that it is completely dry. So I'm going to wait for this to completely dry and then we can move on to the final step. While I'm waiting for this to dry, something I do recommend that you should do no matter what dip powder kit you're using is with the base and the top coat. I would suggest cleaning off the rim and just like the neck of the bottle with a lint-free wipe and some acetone, because you can have the possibility of your brush or your lid getting stuck to the neck of the bottle. I've had that happen to me so many times and it's a pain to try to get open. So I definitely recommend that you do that before you completely close your base or your top. So it's been 5 minutes and like this whole area here, I touched this because I was feeling them to see if they were dry or not because I was being impatient. And as you can see, this whole area here wasn't dry. And I literally just touched this and it's, you know, it still isn't dry. And even around the cuticle area here, it's not really dry. And I don't know if I just applied too much or it really doesn't take 2 minutes or even 5 minutes to dry. But personally, I would recommend not using the top coat that comes in dip powder kits because it's not actual top coat, it's like glue. So, but anyway, I just wanted to mention that. So now that these are completely dry now, I'm gonna go ahead and apply cuticle oil, which is the very last step. So my final thoughts on this dip powder kit, I like it. I like that it's affordable. The colors are really nice. Even though like I kind of filed a little too much, it didn't seem to disturb the color like whatsoever, which I'm very surprised by. I do, however, wish that it did come with a clear dip powder, only because I go ham with filing, and when I don't have a clear dip powder on them, I end up dulling out the color a bit. You can see it on this one a bit. Maybe you can see it. In person you can see it, but on camera it's hard to tell. There are some spots that are a little bit dulled out because I was just going ham with the filing. The other thing I don't really like about it is, of course, the application process. I really don't like applying it from cuticle to free edge because then the cuticle gets bulked up, and not the actual like width itself. As you can see, like these are super thin. Even though I applied, like, the pinkies are okay, but like all these other nails are pretty thin. Even though I applied 3 coats and even applied a little bit of dip powder in the middle just to try and bulk it up a little bit just to have some structure, they're still super thin. So I don't like the application process, but I can just apply it the way I normally apply dip powder. I don't like the top coat. I never like the top coat in these kits. So I'll definitely be probably filing these and then putting like a gel top coat on them because I do like super shiny nails. And I really don't like the top coat in dip powder kits. Doesn't matter what kit it is, I just don't like it. But other than that, I really do like this kit and I will be using it again, but of course I will be applying it the way that I prefer to apply dip powder, but I will definitely be using this kit again, and I definitely do recommend it. But I probably wouldn't really follow the instructions. I'd recommend that you watch some dip powder tutorials. I have a dip powder tutorial on how I do apply it. And I have other dip powder tutorials where I kind of reiterate what it is that I say. So I'll put my video down in the description box below so then you guys can see a better process for applying dip powder if you want to get this kit and not kind of run into the same issues that I was having. Another thing is I don't like the fact that they're only in 1/2 ounce jars. because as you saw when I was dipping my finger in, it was just overflowing. And what I ended up actually doing was, instead of pouring it on my nails like I was before, I ended up just pouring some of it into the lid, and so I could dip my finger into there. So I do wish that these came in 1 ounce jars and not a half an ounce. I think you can buy them in 1 ounce or even 2 ounce jars, but thinking from a perspective of someone using this for the first time, and if they were using nail tips like I was, I definitely do wish that they were in 1 ounce jars and not half an ounce jars. But other than that, other than, you know, my negative opinions on this kit of things that I wish they did differently, all in all, I really do like this kit, and I will be using it again. I do recommend it. So this is what my nails looked like after 3 weeks, and even though it is hard to see with the color, I didn't really have any issues with them whatsoever. So that was my review on the Revel dip powder kit. If you guys like this video, consider hitting that subscribe button and click the notification bell so you guys get notified as new videos that I upload. If it even works, and if it doesn't work, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I not only update you guys as to new videos that I upload, but that's also where I share my work that you guys normally wouldn't see here in these videos. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!